Okay, so let me show you how to get started on this assignment. This does not have to be a very complex environment. So I'm just going to add a plane for the floor plane. I'm gonna turn off the light here so that we just look at it with shaded mode. Just a simple plane. It depends on what kind of setting you have. You can have a hill, you can have a mountain. Use the soft selection trick that I previously mentioned here. Where is it? The subdivisions here, you can increase those and make it a lot, so that way we can see what we're going to do next. So I make it 21 and 17. Okay, so then you right click and go to vertex mode and select one vertex. Remember, if you don't have soft selection on, then that will be a problem, right? So let's double click on the move tool and go to soft selection here and turn it on. What that does, remember that it does kind of pulls. You see that as we make it the number smaller, pulls a lesser or a bigger amount of points around in a soft, gentle manner. It's a good idea to create hills like this. Maybe a little one here. I think we needed more resolution or a bigger plane for this, but that's the idea. Okay, so let's turn that off just in case, and let's close this. Okay, we have simple environment there. Let's say you want to put a house over here on the so-called valley. So you can start with a simple you can also leave the floor flat. That's not a requirement. You can do a simple house. Just remember, it does not have to be super super big. Let's say that the house is kind of embedded on the mountain or so. It could have a porch maybe. So if you wanted to do a porch, something on that line, you could do something like that and move it over there, and maybe scale it so that it covers everything, and you could duplicate it maybe. So edit, duplicate, and move it up. You could do steps on the same manner. You could do something like that and kind of scale back so that it doesn't look too bad. You could do the top of the porch also over here. Maybe people come in and there's a second floor. Just giving you ideas here that you can do. You could do something like a railing over here. I don't think I did that right, so let's undo. I'm just making a cylinder, and I'm gonna make it like that and kind of put it here to replicate maybe a little bit of a railing over there. And there you go, maybe duplicate it a couple times and kind of then I get those two, and I kind of go edit, duplicate again, kind of move them forward, and edit, duplicate again to move them forward. Oh, that didn't quite work. Okay, and that way you can start populating this, and even if you wanted to do it like more with a wood kind of approach, you could get one of these guys and duplicate it and rotate it instead, right? Rotate it. Well, I'm duplicating as a instance. Okay, I see, which is even better. So go move it, That way you can scale it maybe, and that way it kind of looks more like a rustic wood approach of a of a railing, you know, or maybe an entrance, you know, if you wanted to do something like an entrance, you know. Let's grab these guys and then just duplicate it and put it over here. You could even rotate that and let's group it first, edit group. Now with the group all together, then we can rotate it without any problems. So this probably might be better to do on the top viewport so that we can see better over here, to kind of line it up, with the grid, to use it as reference, right? And then move it and kind of put it in front of the other piece and then you can continue adding more, you know, you can, to make it like an entrance or so. Let's go back to the perspective. You know, you can remember, don't go into too much detail. I'm focusing on the texturing, okay? So yeah, it should look somewhat believable, but you know, don't overdo it to the point that that you spend so much time and modeling, and then the texturing gets forgotten, okay? So for the windows, you could do something as simple as, let me show you, let's make it thin, and you make let's say that's your window. Depends on what kind of window you want to make. Let's add a few subdivisions to it, and there, okay. And I would say excuse me, right click, go to face and select excuse me, select maybe these guys over here for the window frame, and then go to the polygon tool, and you can create something like that for, you know, for a frame, you know, for a window. There's different ways to do this. You could also go to vertex, and if it bothers you that, you know, it's kind of thick, you can always go and shrink that edge. You see how I made the frame now looks a little bit closer, so I'm selecting all these on the side, on both sides, and make it smaller so that it looks more like, you know, a thinner window frame. This is an easy way to work around that. And now you have a simple window, right? And you just have to put it in place, right? And using the duplicate, make sure that the inner part shows. If you need to make it thicker, just use the scale tool and, you know, scale it like that to make it thicker. And you can just fake windows this way, you know, maybe it's higher windows. You can always scale the windows if you need to, you know, that's another idea. Just duplicate away once you have the right size, and you can put windows on the side. So you get something very simple already. And then for the door, you could use even the same approach, duplicate, and let's say that the door is going to be here in the middle, and you just scale it, move it up, and that starts looking more like a door, right? Please remember that doors have handles, so let's make sure that we work on that as well. So vertex, you know, that over there went kind of a little bit too thick, and the same thing with the one on the bottom. So I'm just going to select that row of vertices on the top, on the bottom, just kind of make that edge. Actually, the bottom of the door is usually much thinner, so I'm going to right click, object mode, and that's a simple door there. It does not have to open, you know, it's just you know, an illusion of a door. This allows you to color this one way, you know, the wall one way, and then you can manipulate these other intersections to create glass or even to map something on it if you wanted to. Make a door, please. You know, it can be as simple as a, you know, you could do one of these, or go a little bit more complex, but you know, something as simple as a sphere might work. A sphere on a cylinder, you know, that's a basic shape for a doorknob. So you just have to work with, oh, sorry, there. You have to work with the scale and, you know, other things to make sure that they appear like they belong together. So you could maybe squash this guy like that, and maybe make this one much thinner, and it's starting to look a little bit more like a, and you might want to do this on the top view to make sure you center it, but I'm just kind of using my eye here, which as you can see is not quite that accurate, but the top view will allow you to see it a little bit better. Oh, no, because the other one is not. Okay, that's fine. Just move it up. And remember what we just did? We just go back to this group, right? So that you can, so go edit group. And now you put it on the door. It doesn't have to be too fancy, okay? Just rotate. Make sure it's completely sideways. Double check on the other viewports. And I'm just using mine. You can make it bigger, smaller. You have made it as a group. So now all of it will be resized or scaled together, you see? So I'll make it bigger, smaller as needed. And that's a simple doorknob. As far as the roof, you could just do a simple roof by duplicating that and probably scaling it up. I don't think I duplicated it, so let me go again, edit, duplicate. Okay, let me go up. Yes, now I duplicated it. And let's scale it up, and then I'm gonna squish it down. So you could do either a Spaniard type of house where they have the roof is a little bit is flat and then has holes on the sides where the water comes out. That's how it was on the houses where I grew up. Or you might need to then consider doing what am I looking for? The cube, no tessellation. Oh my goodness, it's hiding from me. You want to do a one of those that has like a triangular shape. You can do with one of these, or you can use one of these. Okay, if you want to do one of these, just duplicate and rotate. Oops, not that way. Okay, what's going on? Oops. Control C. Okay, this is behaving odd. I just want to rotate the whole thing. Yeah, this is not quite do what I needed. I'm wondering if it's gonna crash again. Okay, the idea is to tilt it. I'm not sure why it's not letting me tilt it. Let's just start with a brand new plane because I'm suspecting something might have happened to that. So the idea is to do this, you know, tilt it and duplicate again. How much, you know, this doesn't have to be too fancy, as I said. And you could just do something like this and then kind of set it up, make sure that it looks right, you know, and then you can put it up on top of the house. Now this will have a problem with the fact that your house is squared, right? So let's group this, edit group. You know, you can make it a little bit bigger and then kind of let it sit. You know, I might need to refine this because I'm doing it really fast. Press the up key if you want to select the whole group, you know, if you lost your selection. So just make sure it lines up. You know, right now I'm just kind of going real fast and it's not quite lining up. So the next thing you need to watch for is that you have an open area over here. You have the option of maybe adding one of these. You know, if you want to do a pyramid, and it will require some you know, some editing. You might need to do one pyramid in the front, one pyramid on the back. And why do we do two? Because you have an opening that goes all the way to the back. Okay, so here you might need to get this to line up with one of your sides so that it becomes like a front part of it. You see that? I hope you're seeing how that is working. And you know, once this is kind of straight, you then rotate it, make that the front part. That didn't quite work. Let me see. How many sides did we make? 4. Okay. Yeah, we need to just edit it a little bit more until we get the placement that looks like it's kind of flat on one side. Let's see if that works better. Let's rotate it and not rotate that point, but the whole thing. So let's right click, and then you might need to now put it back in place. And this is where the fun part goes. You know, you have to then now kind of try to match this to the other side. Okay, so then it's a matter of moving points, right? So right click, go vertex, move these points to kind of be a little bit like there on the side so that it covers that side, and then this point can cover the side, you know, until you make them match. You know, you don't want this to be going through. The other option you have is to edit this this one here, and let me see, mesh controls. Why am I not finding a setting that I'm looking for? Oh, here, polycube. Sorry about that. Long hours of work. You could then, the other alternative is to edit the cube, okay? And then go vertex and grab that point. Let me move the pyramid so that you see what I'm doing here. Maybe get, you know, one point there. Vertex and start moving things. And then you pretty much will start lining up vertices to match the angle of your roof. That will be the other option that I would suggest. So that way it kind of follows the angle, right? So if we did get this guy out, you're gonna see that then that, let's get this guy out too, and this one. Then your house will have, you know, that angle on the top. Okay, so that's pretty much, and you want to do it the same on the back. As you select your points, make sure you select the ones on the back as well, so that as you move up, those points, the ones on the back also respond in the same way. You don't have this this on the side. Okay, that way you put your roof down and it looks like as a continuous surface. Okay, so it can be as simple as this. So if you did want, let's say, you know, those kind of windows that have, you know, different, like four different glasses and then kind of like a cross sign on the front, you can always create a cube. Okay, what's going on? There. You create a cube and pretty much make a little slab and just put it in place, you know, like we just did with the roof. And these are ideas. I'm kind of randomly using a few ideas that come to mind, and then scale it down. You have a single, you know, a two window, the glass window frame there. Might need to scale it a little bit because it's going through. There you go. That gives you a double, you know. And then if you want one of those that have four, just, you know, duplicate that and tilt it. No group. Sorry, no group. Edit, duplicate, and then just rotate it. That's all is needed. Just duplicate. Make sure it doesn't go through like it's happening here at the top. And now you have one that has one of those that has like four. And that's it, you know, it can be as simple as this. After this, make sure you do the UV mapping, right? Just go on the UVs over here. It will have this kind of setting. Remember that you can always select different faces over here and map them individually. So I could maybe select all these, and then this is going to be my front side. So then you could do a planar map there. And or have an automatic one, yeah, automatic one. And you see, I don't know if you see it, but here's the let me select those points. Okay, what's going on over here? Let's go over here on vertex. You see the, why did it do it that way? Sometimes 3D Max and Maya misbehaves. So let's do it again. We have those, all right? Those are our points. Let's make a planar map, and with the move tool, no, we cannot use the move tool just yet. Hold on. I just want to move that out. Oh, there you go. That's your front, the front of your house. So you can separate it and put any like material that you want. And then if you want this side, you know, you can do the same. Separate it, do a planar map, and you can move it out of there. And you can continue selecting different parts like that. I'm holding the shift key and do a planar map and move it out there. That didn't quite work. Why didn't it work? Let's go back. Select, 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 select. It is there. Planar map. Okay, that one's giving us a weird, strange line. Let's do a automatic map. There you go. If it planar map doesn't work, try automatic. Sometimes automatic works better. So it's there. So move tool. Let's move it out of there. Okay. Once you finish, you know, separating all the parts. Remember to select them all and scale them so that they fit inside this gray area over there. So move tool and make sure they're in this part, right? This is the default, so any textures that you bring to your material will be looking at the points there, okay? And that's pretty much it. You know, you go to your hypershade, apply a material to this, and on the material you put your, let's say you make a blend. On the blend settings, let me close the hypershade. Over here on the color, map a color map over here. On the bump map, come over here and try to create a little bit of roughness, and also on the specular. So make sure you add your lights. So create lights. Maybe you can try directional light as well, spotlight. Make sure you put your shadows on like we did last week, so that you get somehow believable settings, you know, shadows on your scene. Okay, so I hope this helps. This remember, it doesn't have to be too complex. This is bugging me, so this looks like speed modeling. And that's it. Render your image. Remember to not render a floating plane. I don't want to see this, a floating plane. I want to see an illusion that we are maybe standing in front of the house or something like that, that we're viewing from a street. Change the background as we did last week to make it an environment or a simple color that represents the time of day that you're using, okay? And shadows, 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 okay? So I hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing your work next.